Yes, guys, what you say, my people? Welcome back to the After 5 Club. This is our brand new series called Ask After 5. If you've got any burning questions you want to ask us, please send us a DM on Instagram and on TikTok at After 5. Also, you can also send us an email on after5club2023@gmail.com. Send us your email, send us your questions, we'll read them out. We'll also keep them anonymous, so you don't have to worry about us mentioning your name or anything. So yeah, send your questions in, yeah?
Perfect.
Yeah. This is our first ever question. This is a milestone anyway, but let's get cracking with today's episode. So we got an email in, I'm not gonna mention it obviously, and the title of the email is Stuck with In-Laws.
Okay. We've spoken about this topic, by the way.
Yeah, I know. But I think this will be actually a good insight, actually, because we haven't actually went back on...
This is their own...
No, I don't know what this is.
Okay.
As in, we kind of know who it is, but it's anonymous. They want it to be anonymous.
Yeah, no.
Right, so let me get into the question, yeah? So, Salam brothers, hope you're all doing well. Loving the videos, keep up the great work. If I could kindly request this to be anonymous, as I wouldn't want anyone finding out about my question. No problem, Halima. 97. I'm joking. I'm currently married with my husband for almost 2 years. I'm living with his family in his family home. The house is big enough to accommodate the whole family, alhamdulillah. My husband's parents live with us along with his 2 sisters and 1 brother. The first year of our marriage was great and absolutely no issues whatsoever. But over the past year, I've started noticing some changes in behavior within the women in the house. My sister-in-laws in particular have started to make snide remarks about the way I dress and also the fact that I like to cook a certain way. I've raised this with my husband and he sees nothing wrong with it and has always taken his sister's side. Moving out is not an option for us right now as we're both working to help cover the mortgage for the house. I know I'm overreacting slightly, but I feel like the pressure is piling up and I don't know what to do. Your advice on this will be much appreciated. Thank you. Right, so there's a lot to dissect there. So she's been married for around 2 years, living with her in-laws, parents, 2 sisters, 1 brother. First year went completely fine, and the last year has been a bit of an issue. And now the sisters are obviously making remarks about her dress sense and her cooking and whatnot. So how can we help? What's your opinion on that?
I mean, the first question is, which I picked up on, is the reason why they can't move is because obviously covering the mortgage. So this is the premarital home, I'm guessing.
Oh, there's no.
So it's a family home, I think, isn't it?
So it's a family home. To be fair, I'm just trying to think that as a wife, you know, you want to be building towards your own personal house, rather than your.
Because that would have been my first sort of thing.
That's the only sort of yeah. But I mean, I'm not sure why she's contributing towards her husband's family house. If you see what I mean, I don't know if that is the case. But Sister Halima, right? Thank you so much for your question.
That's not her name, but
no.
Don't bait her out, innit?
No.
You've got the 97.
I wonder who is Halima. So Halima 97.
I made it up, bro.
It's a good, do you know what it is? Funnily enough, like these sort of things we hear so often. It happens in a lot of, especially in Desi culture, it happens a lot. Person gets married, they live in their in-laws and now they're feeling uncomfortable, these things happen and people actually don't have the right solution because everyone's situation is different. But just from reading, listening and reading to this, I would say the first thing is, one, for the girl, you're living with your in-laws. So your husband is meant to be your sole protector in the sense. So I think he mentioned something about the husband is backing her sister. So this is somewhere where you can there's a communication barrier, or there's an issue between you and your husband. You need to speak with your husband, and you both need to have an understanding, and your husband more so needs to understand that, you know, he's the one that brought you into the family home. So he needs to take your side as well. So because you're more closer with your sister, so I feel like the husband should naturally, you shouldn't even tell your husband, but your husband should be the one that should be backing you as well. Like, it's not about picking sides, but your husband should be like maybe taking your sister to one side, his own sister to one side, and say, listen, you know, there's some remarks that you've been saying, you know, I don't want to cause any problems, but, you know, if just keep it to yourself, or, you know, don't make anyone feel uncomfortable in this house. So I feel like the man kind of has to man up in this situation, because again, as Dave said, the mortgage, they can't leave. Because I first personally would say, if in doubt, leave. Move out. And the truth is, so for me, I would say the husband, you need to man up, and you need to. It's true.
Strong words, bro.
Strong words. I get annoyed at these sort of things.
You need to get him to watch our podcast, right?
Honestly, you know what I mean. Whoever that man is, you're right. No, but whoever that man is, like, it's true. Like, some people forget that the girl has left their own home to move in with you. So you need to make them feel extra comfortable compared to how your sisters and your siblings feel, because they're already comfortable.
Imagine she's feeling that false sense of security because her first year went swimmingly, like it was fine, but now this past year is obviously causing an issue in terms of her sisters and stuff.
I think the sister needs to have a deeper chat with the husband, a proper sort of, because obviously look, there's one thing giving our opinions, but it's also about problem solving over here, right? So I think she needs to like have a proper discussion with her husband, and actually express herself to her husband, and actually explain that, look, you know, how I dress, does that actually bother you?
I'm sure she's already addressed it with the husband. It says, didn't it, that the husband always takes the
sister side or something.
Sister side, but is the husband taking the sister side in front of the sisters? Because if that's the case, then he shouldn't be doing that, right? If he's taking the sister's side or the mother's side, on a separate scale, then that obviously shows his own personal sort of opinion about cooking.
She's mentioned, I've raised this with my husband and he sees nothing wrong with it. That's who was taking his sister's side. Okay. So I'm guessing they've had that one-to-one conversation, and he's obviously kind of just.
Look, the thing is, right? Absolutely, I totally agree with you, Hobbs. You know, at the end of the day, as a man, you should always, and I've said this in the past as well. You know, you should always give the girl who's leaving the original house, give them a little bit of chance. You know, give them that opportunity to be able to sort of adjust and whatnot type thing, if that's even required, right? Unfortunately, when you're living in a joint family, there's always going to be some aspects of compromise, right? So that's inevitable, right? That compromise, whether that happens from the daughter-in-law, whether that happens from the sister-in-laws, that's, you know, that's sort of debatable. But someone needs to make that compromise. If it, you know, like, as in, the simple solution is to be able to actually, you know, do your own independent stuff, move out. In all honesty, should the dressing bother the sister-in-laws and the mother? No, I think it's got nothing to do with them, right? I think, you know, as if it doesn't bother the husband, then I don't see that being a problem. If the cooking, once again, as well, first of all, you're not obliged to be cooking for your in-laws, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So, you know, if anything, even cooking for your husband, that's not obligatory either. As far as I'm aware, I'm pretty sure a woman doesn't even have to cook for her husband in Islam. We're talking about Islam, right? Right? So, but anyway, look, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? But
for me, it's like, these are small issues right now, innit? Like, they can end up big issues
if you don't solve it and nip it in the bud now.
In the future, other issues will just be even bigger. You know what I'm saying? These are just small nitpicking kind of issues, innit?
Now the flip to this is, right, and there's always a flip, right? Because at the end of the day, you're only hearing one-sided story, right? You always and whenever you answer these questions, you always have to look at the other possibilities as well. Is there any truth behind the other?
There's always two sides to a story.
There's always two sides, right? Like,
we're just taking face value at the moment. We're reading off what we've been told in it. But in this scenario, I do reckon.
In this scenario, from the way it's been presented, I don't think the sisters have got any legs to stand on when they're talking nonsense about you. First of all, right? So that needs to be shut down. If it's not going to be shut down, I think the simple thing is you just need to. And if it's not in your means to move out at the moment,
taking the chin.
Then just ignore it, man. Like as in, you know, how much harm can they possibly do? As long, you know, if you don't give them the reaction that they need.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So just ignore it.
No, I get her concerned because she's probably thinking, oh, you know what, these are small issues right now, but like she's probably hearing stuff from like other probably friends and stuff, and she's hearing stuff from online even. She's probably already gone to social media about it and whatnot. She's probably hearing all these things, and obviously she's fearing the worst. Like this is the start of like a big issue for me. So I get her concern.
And the biggest advice you can give is for the sister Halima, 97, is sabr. You know, have patience. Again, when you get into a marriage, it's not just love.
And you know, just oh, sorry.
No. Carry on.
I was just gonna say, just hopefully progress the sisters to get married quickly, innit? Get them out of the house. Do you know what I mean? Like, as in, look, the sisters, they're gonna go soon anyway, right? So, you know, fine, fair enough. There's one brother, right? And he's probably
clueless, bro, isn't it?
He's probably clueless. Like, he's doing his own thing until he gets married, and then his wife comes in, and then that's gonna be another issue. Listen, look, the simple fact is there can't be two queens in one house, innit?
Exactly.
Right? So the longevity of things is you just have to think about how you're gonna solve that problem. So if you're contributing towards this mortgage to this house that doesn't even belong to you, I think you need to stop that. First of all, that's the first thing that I'm gonna say.
That's a big step, though.
That's a big step, but it needs to be done. That's the first step you need to make. As in, why are you contributing when there's no respect for you?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like, as in, the sister-in-laws ain't respecting you, your mother-in-law's not respecting you, your husband's not even, like with the greatest respect.
He's not.
Do you know what I mean? Yes, fair enough. Look, it's a different story. Like if you're literally going the complete opposite direction to what he was expecting in the sense where, for example, I mean, look, I know there's a lot of feminists out there, and you know, like, for example, dressing and whatnot, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, if for example your thought process of your dressing isn't compatible with his thought process, then that's a different issue altogether. Because, you know, it's a very subjective issue. Like, as in, you know, my sister-in-laws are making remarks about the way I dress. What is actually wrong with the dressing? First of all, I think that question needs to be.
She needs to ask her husband as well. She needs to ask her husband, like, what do you actually think of my dressing? If you haven't got a problem with it, they shouldn't have a problem with it.
But you know what? I see a lot of, or not see, but I've heard a lot of situations like these, like they see marriage, this not getting along, and majority of it falls with the husband just being a wuss, man. Like, you know, unfortunately, it's sad to see where the husband is too protective on them. Like, by all means, you know, protect your mother, protect your siblings as well, but just think about it. You've got a stranger essentially coming into your home, so you kind of have to be fair in that way. You know, a lot of men, they kind of choose the easy route, and like at the end of the day, eventually there's gonna be a time where you're just gonna be with your partner, living with them.
The more interesting thing is, why has this sudden change happened in after a year? Do you know what I mean? Like, as in, has there been a change in Sister Halima, or has there been? Sorry, I know I shouldn't really be making names.
That's not her name.
By the way,
I know. That's we have to add a bit of context, right? So that's the reason why we named this imaginary
said person.
Yeah. Right. But I've forgotten the point that I was trying to make.
You ruined it for yourself, bro. Sister Halima, bro.
But what was I gonna say?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
No. I think the point you're raising is the first year was fine.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. So the first year is fine, right? Then the second year, suddenly there's a change. Have you done something to upset them where now they are sort of influencing your husband in a negative way because of certain actions you may have done that they might have been offended of or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, and there could be very women, they work in mysterious ways. So
no, definitely.
So that's the only thing that I'm gonna say.
Also, the way she was dressing and her cooking or whatever, was it consistent over the last 2 years? Or
yes,
has
exactly.
As well?
Exactly. Have you been adding too much salt in the cooking?
Too much masala, bro.
Too much masala, too much mirchi.
Too much naga.
Yeah, good one.
Hobbs doesn't want to say anything, bro.
Naga makes everything better. I think she added too less. She didn't add enough. No, but do you know what? I think that is a very good question. But definitely the viewers, there's a lot of people that have been in that situation. So please give your thoughts on how you could advise said Halima, right? How you can advise her, what you think is best to overcome those situations. And yeah, man, it's a difficult one because every situation is individual. So you can't, there is no like one answer fits all. It just depends on your relationship with your husband, your communication with your husband, your relationship with your in-laws. Are you close where you can have that relationship where you tell your sister-in-law, oh yeah, sorry, not to have any bad blood, but I heard you say this, and see if they resolve it. If they're the type of person that's quite defensive, then obviously you can't really do that. You have to rely on your husband, and he needs to man up because he's a wuss. So yeah,
I mean, myself, I've got like a really sort of reflective personality, right? So I'm one of those people who likes to learn from getting feedback from others. So I don't know, like, as in that's one thing that I would probably suggest. It might even be worth just having an open conversation with the whole family, or maybe individually, but just ask them that, look, I've heard that there's an issue with my dressing. I'm just trying to understand your point, like then what's your issue with the way I dress?
You're saying going directly to the sisters.
Yeah. Look, I'm one of those ones. I don't think it's fair to beat around the bush. Like, let's just get straight to it. Like, I don't want this issue to drag on. So let's just talk about it. Obviously, you've made comments, you've made these remarks. It needs to be shut down right there and then. Otherwise, it can linger on.
Do you think her going directly to sisters and not going to her husband? Do you think he's gonna feel a type of way? Because he's
no,
probably
but
gonna
she
be
has
like,
gone to the husband though.
The husband is back in his sisters.
But he's going to be like, oh, why
His
didn't you come
sisters.
to me? If it's an issue, why didn't you come to me? And I could have sorted it out myself. I know she's already mentioned that she's already addressed it with him. But like, is that going to cause friction between the wife and husband? Because that might just add a bit more fuel to the fire.
Potentially. Another example similar to that is you have to be very, very careful with Saqib, your ideas, your suggestion, because say for example there's some mother-in-laws who are just very, very homewreckers, in a sense, where now if you go directly and speak to them about situations like these or issues like these, that mother-in-law will now try her best and cause friction within your relationship by manipulating her own son. That happens in a lot of marriages, and we just need to be careful of that as well.
100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, this was just our opinion, so just helped anyway. Guys watching, if you have any better suggestions, let us know in the comments. And ask us your questions again at After 5 Club, TikTok, Instagram. Also send us your emails on after5club2023@gmail.com. Catch you next one. See you later. I did, See you later, guys.
See you guys.
Take care.
Bye.